Guys, before we get to this video, let me talk to you real quick about something very important. When you're driving around, or even when you're just parked, things happen to your car. I am living proof. I have found all kinds of crazy stuff happening out on the road, and I've come back to my car and found damage before. That's why we're talking about the Thinkware U1000 dash cam today, and we're pairing it with the Black Box My Car battery. Now, this combo platter right here, it's got a 4K 30 FPS front camera, 2K 30 FPS rear camera, right? And then you hardwire that into your car, or you can use the cigarette lighter cable if you're portable like me. If you're G, now you hook up the Black Box My Car battery. It goes under the seats, nice anodized aluminum. Hook that up. That keeps your Thinkware dash cam setup running even when you're parked. It's like a security system for your car. This gives you a full-on setup, keep you protected while driving or parked. So hit the link in the description. I got special prices for you on this stuff. It's really high quality, but get it now with that link in the description. Now enjoy this video. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Crazy Town. We have achieved full Crazy Town, I think. This is the 2021 McLaren 765LT, and like you can guess by now, what happens with the LT cars is they are lighter, they are more powerful, they're more engaging, and they dial up the race car theater. I sat through a Zoom technical presentation about this car, so I have a lot of notes. Bear with me because there's actually quite a lot going on with this car that's really, really cool. We know what LT means: more aero, more carbon, less weight, and more power. In order to do that, they have reduced weight by going with bucket seats, bare carbon floors, bare carbon A-pillars. They have gone with polycarbonate rear windows, like race car stuff, like Lexan. There's a larger full-length carbon fiber wing with built-in air brakes. They have done this beautiful lasered mesh across the rear of the car that I think is one of the most exotic details I have seen in a supercar in some time. That is just an unbelievably beautiful piece of metal. This car can be 176 pounds lighter than the regular 720S, but that's only if you option it without AC or a radio. If you option it with AC and radio, thank the baby Jesus that this one's got that. It's only 151 pounds lighter. AC is 22 pounds, and the radio is 3 pounds. Both of which, let's be honest, we want those things, okay? The exhaust is made of titanium. It's 40% lighter. And that quad thing, people in photos, not so into it yet, but I promise you, wait till you hear it. It's optimized for frequency and volume. It's very, very, very good. This is the first production McLaren to feature in-house carbon fiber body panels. Did you believe that McLaren had a third-party company making their carbon panels for a while? They did, and now it's brought in-house, so that is very good. Brakes are off the Senna. Believe it or not, the calipers are actually a little bit heavier than the 720 brakes, but they are so much more effective that is a fair trade-off, right? There's a bespoke LT suspension with a 6mm wider front track, a 6mm wider front track, 5mm lower front ride height, stiffer active roll bars, ultralight forged wheels with titanium wheel bolts, standard Trofeo Rs. We haven't even got to the engine yet. They say that the modified 4-liter V8 is now making 755 horsepower and 590 pound-feet. If that was not at the wheels, I'd be shocked. This is an 800 horsepower car. Easy, easy. It's got a new fuel system. It's got new pistons, gaskets, and an ECU tune, and it's also been re-geared. The 7-speed dual-clutch gearbox has been re-geared for 15% improvements in gear acceleration. This is where we get to Crazy Town, okay? The 0 to 124 mile an hour number is 7 seconds. That's 1.6 seconds quicker than an Aventador SVJ, 1.3 seconds quicker than a GT2 RS, half a second quicker than a 488 Pista. And aside from crazy runway racer, highly specialized tuner cars I've driven, I think I could pretty much confidently say that this might be the fastest street car that I've ever driven. So, where can I put my notebook where it won't go flying? In this handy pouch, this handy mesh pouch for your papers. Now, that was a lot of rambling, and I'm sorry, but there's a lot to take in with this thing. We are in active handling, comfort on the chassis setting, and you're going to thank me for that. Well, my spine's going to thank me for that. And then we're going to start in sport powertrain and go to track, drop the lifted suspension, and we're off. I saw some folks on this road driving very slow and like bird watching or something, so we're gonna have to keep an eye out for them. Crazy town is here. The other night, I took this car to dinner. Went to Mastro's Ocean Club, where they parked us right up front. Oh good, there they are. And on the way, I just did a couple little pulls, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. And what I discovered was, you can break the tires loose in all of those gears. This vehicle will spin the tires at 90 plus miles an hour in 4th gear. And I went to dinner with my friend Nick, and I was demonstrating that for him. And he posed the question to me, if you were building a street-legal LMP2 car, what would be different? Not much, my friends. Not much. Now, you go talk to Chris Harris, who has driven the actual McLaren GT cars, and he will find for you some nuance, right? Some real differences at the absolute limits of the car that are valid, right? But what I'm talking about is regular people, regular roads, or Jesus Christ, or even regular racetracks. The air brake goes up and it blocks the entire rear window. That's amazing. What's cool about the air brake is even if you do a big lift, it'll still work for you. Top of 4th, good golly, Miss Molly. Oh, other things to love about this car. Aside from the bucket seat, which could use a little more lumbar love, it's the most space of any supercar. My legs are nice and stretched out underneath there. Plenty of headroom. The visibility, oh wow, the number's big. That's a big number. Very stable. You know it's good when I can like pull like over a G through a corner while being like, the rear visibility is good. But for real, that rear 3/4 visibility is banging. Really nice. In some other cars, that is a very difficult thing to come by, that rear visibility. Like all other McLarens, the brake pedal is very firm. You have to get used to pressing it harder than normal. Race car theater. Pillars and stuff are very thin though, which gives you this beautiful greenhouse. And also, of course, the doors are cut into the roof, which makes it much easier to get in and out of than, say, the Sports Series cars. Shortening gear ratios has worked. And the sound is there. The sound is present. 720, not that I have any complaints about the 720, I have very few, but it's a little maybe turbine-like, almost a little too Gran Turismo. Not fake, but kind of, I mean, generic doesn't do it justice, that's the wrong word, but middle of the road. This has given it a little more, not a burble tune, but pops and bangs. more turbo noise, more exhaust sound, and what I presume is a flame or two. Yo, we have reached full-on crazy town. The Gearbox is as fast as a Gearbox as I have ever driven in a car. It is up or down, don't matter. Will this person let me pass? Because they let me pass before. In the meantime, until they do, turn this all off. We're gonna go into auto. Let me just spend 1 second talking about how personally frustrating it is to drive at normal speeds in this car. You can actually feel the frustration of the car. The 720 is a little better. They've smoothed it out for, a little more. There we go, off. They've smoothed it off for street driving. This one, they want to make it a little more special. And the flip side of that is it's got to come from somewhere. They pull the fun out of automatic mode. And so you kind of have to drive it in manual and keep the revs over 2 or 3, even in the city, because it just bogs. Wow. And that air brake, among other things, but that air brake keeps the rear end so settled. So if you really do a good squeeze hauling down the brakes, it makes sure to keep that rear end squat so you don't get, remember I was up here with the Gunther Works, which was a cool car, but it did an ass waggle when you stood on the brakes, right? Not here. This is the stability. The stability. Yo. Straight up, still, I cannot believe you could just buy this. Is that snow? Get the fuck out of here. That's snow. Oh, we have found snow. All right. Well, we're on Trofeo R's. I don't think we need to continue too much into the snow. But I have said this in slower cars than this, and I'm now going to say it in what is probably, I think, without a stopwatch, the fastest street car that I've ever driven. Let's see if I can get up this. But I can't believe they just sell this to people. I still cannot believe that it's just money. You just show up with money, and they'll sell you this. They're making 765 of them. We're gonna go back down a bit because it's fun. But you just show up with money, and they'll sell you this thing. No license requirements, none of that. You just show up with money, and that to me is so crazy. Because you think about how fast an Aventador SVJ was. I saw 175 miles an hour on the front straight of Estoril in an SVJ. And this, if you were drag racing it, would beat it to 125 by a second and a half. That's a crazy difference at this level of performance. That's really, really crazy. Once we get past old snow and ice on the road here, because that's not good. Ugh. Also, the side skirts up here are like hoovers for gravel. It's very, very funny. I'm going to do a launch, or try to. And if you guys were thinking that I was super mobbing up the hill there, oh my god, Farah's so fucking crazy mobbing. The tire temps right now, they're blue. That drive was not even enough to warm up the tires to first lap of a race temperature. The tires are still cold. So let's go to track. That moves our... I don't like track suspension at all. It's too stiff. But it allows you to engage launch mode, which we have, awaiting full throttle, which we have, boost building, boost ready, and go. Well, I can't say how that was, because it was a crime, allegedly. Oh my God, track suspension, get me out of here. We don't need that at all. The numbers went up in a very, very fast manner. It struggled to get traction. Mode changing, straight ahead required. Okay. It struggled to gain traction right off the line, and then once it hooked up, it was good. This isn't a 0 to drag car. It just happens to be very, very good at that. Which brings me to my final real point. Do we need it? Good God. I would say if this were just the car and not the special version of the quote regular one that they're still making, then we don't need it. The thing that McLaren does so fabulously well with the 720 is the broad spectrum of talents. You bring it to a track day and you have the cheat code. You are mobbing on people, and it's like the thing covers ground. I mean, look at this. It covers ground at a pace that is not fathomable. You take someone out in a 720, even if they've been in fast cars, and their life has changed. And then you put it back on the street mode and you drive it home, and it's like a phantom. It's pure smoothness and class and civility. This, it's not, you can't turn off the race car theater. So every time you get in it, you're climbing over the bucket seat. It's loud, it's vibrating. There's some little rattles and stuff because of bare carbon and Lexan. And that's the way it is. That's the trade-off for motorsport theater. Is it good? Is it bad? I don't know. It's certainly more focused. And there are certainly things that I would like to see make it over to the 720. For instance, if you could MSO order the exhaust and the gear set off of this on a 720, like, ooh, now we're talking. But the other stuff is for the fanatics. Now, it should be said, I took a couple friends out for rides in this car that have been in 720s, and they all said, oh yeah, 765 is where it's at. I would go all the way 765. This makes me stop thinking about the 720. For me, it makes me appreciate the 720 a little more because that car is so much more flexible, and I'm not really sure what my difference in pace would be out here, really, or if that matters. Now, limited production vehicle, 765 units, and is it fabulous? Of course, it's a $430,000 McLaren that is as fast or faster than most professional level race cars. It's insanity. And they haven't ruined it. They haven't totally ruined the Super Series chassis at all. It's just, you got to live somewhere where the roads are good because it's still stiff. You never need to put it in anything besides comfort mode unless you're on the track. That's still very stiff. And these seats, you know, yes, I'm a little fat, but it's not about being fat because once I'm sitting here, I fit. It's about crawling over the hard sill, which is what makes the car less usable in daily situations. So, otherwise, I mean, whoa! Whoa! Crazy town. I've used that word a dozen times in this video, but that's how you describe it. Crazy town has arrived. So, thanks to McLaren for letting me have a go. Thanks to you for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.
And remember, always fight your tickets. Go to offtherecord.com/TST or use code TST10 on the Off the Record app.